The 𝗕𝗹𝗹 MidcoSN Game Ball is not easy to earn. You have to make a big impact on the game, put up big numbers, and beat out a dozen or so other dudes who did the exact same thing. After all the dust settled this week, we decided to give the game ball to Josh Buri of Brookings. We'll talk more about the 5th time he's topped the century mark at the end of this, but for now we're going to get started with some contenders for the game ball. Starting with 𝗕𝗹𝗹 of Chester. He did it with his feet and with his arm, beating Oldham Ramona Rutland on Friday. Eppard went over 200 yards passing with 2 scores and over 200 yards rushing with 3 more touchdowns. Our game ball winner's teammate Keegan Fields earns a spot on the list by rushing over 100 yards and catching 2 touchdowns. He also collected an extra 8 points by kicking the ball. A great all-around game for Keegan. Uriah Glynn has started to heat up in recent weeks for Stevens. The running back went over 200 yards with a big day, 3 touchdowns in their rivalry game last Friday. Tate Johnson of Brandon Valley is a familiar customer to the top performer list. He wore down the Patriot defense all game long and helped the Lynx to their 4th consecutive win with another 3-touchdown performance. Lemon McIntosh rolled in the second half to come back to beat the Ranchers. The comeback was sparked by Tanner Miller, who caught a touchdown and led his team in tackles. By the way, he also picked off 2 passes. McGuire Rasky had his best day running the ball and receiving the ball, and that's saying something. He's had a huge year. The versatile back was spectacular in Pierre's win over Huron with 195 yards on the ground and another 101 receiving. Luke Reddahl was a one-man wrecking crew against Lennox. He logged 10 tackles, crushed the Lennox running game with 4.5 tackles for loss, and he even ran a touchdown in. What a game for the big guy. More defense on the board this week. Zach Richardson of Canton set a school record for tackles on Friday night. He had a big day, including 2 sacks and 3 tackles for loss. The Canton defense in general held Woonsocket Wessington Springs Sanborn Central to -15 yards. Big day for the Canton D. Jackson Schiller ran for 151 yards and hauled in 7 catches for nearly 100 yards and punched in 3 touchdowns. Schiller helped Sioux Valley come back and score 24 straight points to beat McCook Central Montrose. Sam Schlabach had a monster game. He was on point all game long, 300 yards passing and 4 touchdowns, and he also ran for 109 and scored 4 more touchdowns. Schlabach's performance was one of the best this season by a quarterback in their big win over Hill City. Sam Stukel tied Canyon Bauer's school record with 4 receiving touchdowns on Friday night. Stukel carved up the Warrior defense with 3 catches over 20 yards, and he also got this one right here for 43 yards and took it to the house. Micah Swallow caught 3 passes, and all 3 of them went for touchdowns. Big day for Micah. He vaulted Central to a big win over their rivals, Stevens. Hadley Wallace was the engine in Hanson's big win over a ranked opponent on Friday. Wallace not only rushed for 227 yards, but he took a kick return to the house as well. All of those performances definitely deserve a salute, but Josh Buri gets the ball. Josh heated up and had his biggest game of the year. He took a 61-yarder to the house just before halftime and then did some serious damage in the second half as he carried the Bobcats to their 6th win in a row. Buri ended up with 233 yards on the ground, a season high, on 18 carries and scored 2 touchdowns, and he affected the game in so many different ways: blocking, receiving, rushing, punting. He did everything on the field, and he has a great season going, averaging over 12 yards per carry. Keep on ballin', Josh.